Hi guys, Pepe here again. With the phone it's really hard to do this. I'm pretty sure the angle is terrible. Anyways, Delica V6, all beautiful, painted and all that. Ready. Well, that was an accident. Well, ready to go in. Installed. We already put it inside the engine bay. Anyhow, it wasn't that bad, although I scratched this, I'm going to put some paint there. I put it in with the AC and the alternator. I didn't want to take them out because I put the belts and tied it all up, and I didn't want to do that. And it went in, so we lifted about to this height, and I was surprised how easy it went, to be honest. And actually what happened, so this is the transmission seal. So I took this one out and it came out really easy. So I was like, oh, okay. So I put against the torque converter and it was very loose. So then I decided I wanted to change these seals no matter what. It wasn't leaking, but I wanted to change it because I don't know how old it is. So when I bought a seal, SKF seal, this one, for those who might need it, that's part number. It's an SKF. It's metal. This is full metal. So I go and put it in. I use that vacuum hose to try to put it in. It was too long, and I hammered it wrong, and I bent the seal. And this thing was already hanging back here. So what we did is that we put a big piece of wood down there, and basically let the engine sit there for a night or two. I went to buy another seal. They have just one more of those seals, and I put it in, and finally I put it in the freezer, and then it was very cold, and then when I put it in, it went in with a little bit of force, but it went in and went straight and didn't bend. And I can tell you that this seal, it was, I think, close to go already, because it's not tight enough against the torque converter. So yeah, I was surprised about that. So I'm happy that I changed it, and so it's changed. So this is trash now. So I am in the process of basically putting all the stuff together. I lost one of the exhaust heads bolts, those ones, so I left that one out, and I think this one here. But I want to do it right now, so I lost the whole morning to find the bloody bolt, but I found it. Nut. So it's all good. So I'm ready to put those two, torque them down, and the transmission is bolted, which actually didn't took that long, but it's bolted with bolts that are right behind there. It's really, really far. And these are the other ones. There's 4 of these bolts. So these ones are the ones that took me 2 hours to do. So we're going to see how that goes, because it was a real pain. So those are the ones that I'm going to do now, because once I bolted in, then it's a matter of reassembling all the rest of stuff in front here and connecting hoses and stuff like that. This little guy here, if you're going to take the engine out, I would recommend to undo this. There's a bracket that holds this thing. I would recommend you to undo it and maybe take it out, because you can actually take it out. It's kind of like 2 pieces. I bent this thing a little bit. It's the most annoying piece of thing in the engine to put it in. Actually, the engine was caught on this and caught on this this bracket here, which is now straight, and it's supposed to have a bend. Now it's straight because it got stuck against the engine. Anyways, so you take this one off, and make sure to take this one off, and maybe you do it after you take the engine out, because with the engine in and you take it out, you just take the old dipsticks out, because you will break them like I did with mine. So you take this one out and the oil one out, and then you pull it out so that you don't break this guy. And the oil filter, better to take it out, because you go very close to here, so you could just decapitate this piece and break it. So Anyhow, but I will recommend you for sure to get rid of this thing when you do any transmission any engine removal, because when it goes in, this thing is in the way. And I think you can go in from here basically after. So anyhow, it's very annoying. This was incredibly annoying, believe it or not. So now it's a matter of start connecting stuff, which is pretty cool. The thermostat, they want $50 for it. I'm going to put the old one. I didn't have a problem with the old one. I need to wash it and put it in. I was hoping to buy a new one, but $50 and it's not in here, and they had to order it. So I said, who cares? So I'm going to do all this and show you hopefully the first start of this thing, which will be very, very, very nerve-wracking. So long to work on this. 2 months, 3, 4, 5, 6.5, I don't know, but super long to get to here. But it's looking good. And then since the chassis from here there is kind of ugly, a little bit rusty and so on, I think I'm going to do the same paint style that I did here under it, so it doesn't rust anymore. There's no rust hold, it's all surface, but still. And hopefully we can drive this thing. It has 70k on the clock. So, and hopefully, of course, the leak, the head gasket leak is resolved and everything is good. So I don't remember if I did another one before the engine was installed. I think I did. But anyway, so here it is. It's a mess down here. So I'm starting to pull all the rad support stuff and the rad, and I need to take the rad out and to put the fan because it's easier, of course. And so yeah, I think that all the cabling is connected except for the MAF, I think, and a few others. I routed all the cables back to where they were before, and yeah, so it's almost there. Cooling pipe is attached, and then I will put the fan, I will put the rad, I will connect the cooling hoses, which are disconnected right now here. Can you see them there? So here there's two connected, one only. I need to connect this one now to this guy, and then I need to connect those two, one to the rad, one to the return. So there is these pipes here. Can you see them there? So one goes here and the other one goes in the rad. That one goes in the rad. That has that kind of 90-degree bend. They were kind of bad at the beginning of the hose. It was kind of bad shape, so I cut them. The rubbers are still good, so I will reuse those. Once I do that, I will pour some ATF fluid on the transmission, because when I remove the torque converter and so on, I drop some oil, so I'm going to put some oil. The engine has already oil. I put oil in the engine to tie that in. So yeah, everything is looking good. Basically, fan, radiator, cooling lines. I am not going to start this right away. I want to start the car first. So the AC is not going to work, so it doesn't matter. So we'll put that, I don't know, is that a condenser? Nice. I don't know. I think it's a condenser. Anyways, I will put that later. And I need to put power steering fluid too. So I need to tie this in and etc. so that I'm ready to go. But yeah, so yeah, I think at an hour more and I will be able to basically fire it up, which is pretty exciting after 3 months or so. You know, I had to do an update on this paint. I mean, this paint is okay, but I think I should have bought a glossy finish because the satin finish looks dirty. But it's an engine base, so who cares? It doesn't matter. It's going to protect it really well. There's like super thick layers of paint here, and it looks better than the white one. So guys, over here with the first run not edited of the Delica engine after rebuild, and we'll see if it goes well. Stop. Stop. Uh-oh. Try it again. 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 Stop. Okay. Looks like I connected the starter backwards, and I may have burned it actually. Interesting. Well, yep, there's this burning smell. All right, so here is the Delica, not starting issue that I was talking earlier. Maybe for you guys that didn't see it, put the engine back, first time fired up, and I screwed up the starter cables that were touching anyway. So I fixed that, and now I tried to start, but it just didn't run. It didn't run. I checked everything, all the fuses here, everything, and I'm like, what the heck? And so I disconnected these cables, ran it, and they were arcing between each. So that means computer, TCS, crank and cam position sensor, all that is working, because otherwise you wouldn't have a spark, because the spark is controlled by the computer and the ignition control module that I think is down there. So I was like, man, what the heck is going on? And you know, I smell fuel. So I'm like, what's going on? So I decided to take a look of this. My guess was there's no spark. So I grabbed one of these cables, one of the old cables, this one that I put here, number 1 cylinder, put it on with this spark plug that I have here, and I put it on the window there because I couldn't see. But anyways, I put it on the window, I put my hand in it, so I grounded myself and I got electrocuted. So I was like, okay. So I put it back again, and nothing worked, and I have been going through days of, and I was feeling like, you know, I almost throw up. I was feeling bad, like I put so much time and money on this engine and it doesn't work. And I bought these fancy Acel cables, which are super nice. And so I decided, well, what if the cable, so the boot of the cable, is not reaching the spark plugs, because they're pretty long. And I was like, but that can't be. These were the cables for the Delica, this version of the Delica. Well, they were for the Montero Sport. And then I thought, in the manual, some of the valve covers were like shallower, so they were like thinner, you know, on the top. So I was like, what if this is for the single overhead cam, which is actually smaller, I think it is. So maybe this cable will not reach. So I put the old cable number 1, and number 1 cylinder fires up right away. So that's the reason. So I'm going to take, this is the old spark plug cable out. You can see it here. We'll put it side by side. Excuse me here. 1 second. And you can see there, original, and the ones I bought is 2 inches shorter. So of course doesn't reach the spark plugs, and that's why it doesn't work. So stupid mistake. I should have checked this before I put the engine together. I did not think about it. I put it on, and you know, I thought they were good. That was my mistake. So what is going to happen now is I'm going to have to remove the intake, because there's no way to remove all the other cables. So, which is not such a big deal, since I have this space here. So anyhow, I will have to remove that in the evening, and that's it. And put the old cables back, because the old cables were, you know, ugly, but they were not bad or rusted. So I was like, okay, well, whatever. So yeah, so that was the reason, and I'm pretty ashamed about it. I should have checked that. And now these super fancy Acel cables are useless to me. I think that this might be actually for the GT3000. So yeah, so I have a set of fancy cables that are useless. and an air filter that is useless because I bought the wrong one too. Yeah, this is one of the pains of the imports that never came to Canada or the States, is that you have to like correlate parts, and well, this is one example of that. Anyhow, so I am going to do that and update you guys later. I'm pretty sure it was going to fire up right away. And I did notice one thing too, that these valve cover gaskets I bought, they're leaking. And I think maybe the valve cover they were overly tight, the screws, so they might be bent a little bit. So I'm going to tighten the valve cover bolts a little bit more because I can see a leak in the back. So I'm going to tighten them a little bit more, all of them, since I'm going to remove the intake and I'm going to have access to that now again. So yeah, so that's the story so far, and I think, yeah, I can reach everything here because there is some bolts here for the intake that I'm going to have to take out. I think so. We will see. There's some in the back for sure, but those are not that hard. And the hoses, yeah, there's a bunch of hoses that I'm going to have to disconnect. Anyhow, guys, that's at least now we know what is going on, and we know the solution. I have the old cables, so I put the old cables there, and that's about it. So yeah, I'm actually, let me show you how it runs. Well, it's not going to run, but let me connect this spark plug here so you can hear it firing up in cylinder number 1 for the first time, or second time, I guess. See, you can feel the spark plug when you put it on. The other one is like dancing into the top. Let me do this. So here, you see, boom, and now you're going to hear it. You see that? Boom, boom, boom. Well, that's it. That was it. So I'm going to do that, and I will update and make another video later. Okay, guys, see you later. Bye. Stay safe.